Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco Diaz's sister, and today we're reading Saturnastra Loki. This is chapter 9, part 1, on the Perils of Idleness. The colors of the building were carved from the rock, however there were segments with steel and gold added for decoration. The square columns had steel metal bars, and based on a few that remain intact, the steel bars were meant to hold up as star-shaped mirrors. And these mirrors were repeated in other parts of the facade in mimicry of the constellation of the Southern Cross. There were 15 columns in total, and in the interior hallway there were 30 pairs of columns heading towards the throne room. Ingrid noticed something odd as she walked over the golden threaded carpet. The floor reminded her of black rippling water. "What is up with this floor?" asked Alida. "It is black quartz. I cannot say how it was made, for we found it as it is, and made it livable 7 decades ago," explained Heboras. And looking up, Alida saw strange shapes and beings in a raised beneath roof, and they were unlike anything she had seen before, and she had seen the graves too. And Loki stared intently at the roof and patterns and other bizarre design choice. And after much analysis, he recognized the creatures and microorganisms typically found in the human skin. And the main one in the hall of the throne room was a relief depicting an 8-legged bear with a round mouth filled with teeth and no eyes. And Loki chuckled, recognizing the type of bear alluded to. And inside the claws of the bear was a single quartz vial, the size of a dimple. And Loki tried narrowing his eyes to get a look inside, but he was distracted by a high-pitched voice coming from a small throne. And the voice asked a simple question: "Why and how do you get here?" Heboras guided us here as to a purpose. We came to see the architecture and the statues, the flowers and the food and the swords and the cookies," explained Loki. "Ah yes, Lady Zephyr's cookies are delectable, but for the time being she is indisposed," answered the child sitting on the throne. "Originally this throne room did not have a throne. This room was found with hundreds of items the dragons did not know what they were used for, and they were moved. Very little of the original furniture was deemed usable even for humans. However, the structure which was called a temple was the only one with the interior large enough to accommodate 30 chromatic dragons without having them cram into each other's personal space, and at the moment there were only 7 of those dragons, which were the elders, not counting Relieve, who had not bothered to appear to show hospitality to the visitors. And the spot currently reserved for the alpha of the dragon rider was held by a tiny orc girl named Homa. And she was rather short for her age, being 13 years, due to malnutrition, and her eyes were rather large and expressive, with distinct aqueous pink eyes, and hidden behind a mane of red hair. And both were uncommon among the orc kind, though genetically speaking they were capable of all ranges of hair and eye colors in the entire spectrum. And like the rest of her kind, her nose was rather small, and she had a very slight underbite and small pointed ears, and her hair and eyes contrasted greatly with her olive skin. Clothed in gold and fine fur, she was the current darling of the dragons and acting leader. And it had been centuries since the dragons had a princess, and around her neck was a chain with a tiny round ampule, the shape of a stylized fish, and in the fish eye was a series of water drops. And inside the fish eye there was a series of water droplets. Loki took one look at Homa, and then he reached into his hair and he brought out an exquisite daffodil made of Murano glass. Alida, staring at the flower, commented, "How is it that you always happen to have the correct junk to offer?" "It is not junk but craft, and my people have accumulative tendencies," explained Loki. And since the dragon riders no longer had an official protocol, Homa left her throne and went to retrieve the flower before unceremoniously clattering back to her seat. And looking at Heboras, Homa asked, "Have we nothing to fear of these visitors?" "We are dragons, so fear is an emotion unknown to us," explained Heboras. "Speak for yourself," Heboras commented, a dragonling who was eavesdropping. "Allow me to rephrase it. Can we trust them?" asked Homa. "I wouldn't if I were you," retorted Ingrid. "Who said you aren't?" complained Loki. "None. I'm just employing my common sense," explained Ingrid. "What are we to you but simple bored travelers with enough wealth and resources to indulge in idleness?" "Oh," said Homa, frowning, her eyes darkening. "I would be wary of idleness. Many a terrible crimes have been committed by your kind in the name of fun." "My kind? Who do you take me for, human? Asked Ingrid. My apology. One can only assume, said Homer, gesturing at Ingrid. No, my dear, my apologies, and I believe we have not exchanged pleasantries, said Ingrid, embarrassed. What? Don't you know who I am, and what? And have you been living under a rock or something? Asked Homer. Sadly, yes, for you see, Princess Homer, here stands the reclusive troll princess, explained Alida. Troll? What is a troll? Asked Homer. All the other dragons turned to look intently at Ingrid, for they too were bemused by the strange creature standing before him. And scenting past the pollution and other myriads of scents Ingrid had been exposed to was her natural aroma. The scent emanated from the pores of her skin, and the scent was almost imperceptible, but after sniffing the air enough, Herbert was able to identify Ingrid as a floribunda.
Oh,
Floribunda. He smells like a floribunda.
Are you making outbursts or is that an actual thing?
I googled it.
Okay.
Flori knew more specifically that Ingrid was related to what was known in his home as the Anne Harkness, while Alida was a Tuscan son. Those are different flavors of roses. How the hell should I know, said Ingrid, exasperated, and why should that even matter to you of all people? And Homer lowered her head and her eyes watered a bit. You're right. Fine, if you're tired of conversing, be gone. I won't bother you anymore. And after saying this, Homer left the throne room from an adjacent wing, and finding Alida commented, Wow, you are great with kids. There was no need to bully the little girl, said Loki. I grow bored of inquiries, and you can only answer the same question so many times before it becomes a chore, explained Ingrid. You certainly make an interesting case, little troll princess, said Heborus, lowering his head. And I will now take you to your stay. And Ingrid walked ahead of Heborus, even though he was the official guide, and eventually she settled on the back and allowed the blind dragon to guide her along. And for practical purposes, each of the segments of the city was connected with one main road. And whenever steps were required, there were 4 different staircases, one for dwarves, and one for humans, and one for giants, and one for folks on wheelchairs. And Raleigh had designed the stairs in such a way in a moment of inspiration, and he was brought traditional stairs which only catered to one type of steps. All the less livable segments of the human town had homes featuring all types of stairs, and it was this home that Heborus was leading the party to, mostly to annoy Ingrid, who seemed the most irritable. And Alida had been calm all throughout the day, not saying or commenting on anything, and like Loki, she was too caught up in the newness of the city to bother to complain. In the human habitat, as Raleigh liked to put it, there was not one house that was alike, and the people lived there mostly because the houses were pre-built. And there weren't any true dragon riders in this part of the city. Rather, this was the home of the lucky few who had been granted sanctuary. And aside from those people, there were the extended family of the dragon riders who lived there. And those who were the genuine article lived in the market. And like the dragon companions, the riders had hoarding tendencies, stockpiling items and living beings they found amusing. And in addition to the dragon riders, there were the dragon tamers, and in younger times, the riders who worked along with the same families of chromatic dragons, fighting with one another from generation to generation. However, they were forced to tame wild, larger, and stronger dragons due to the pressures from Verageddon. And as of now, they had their stables and about 1,000 non-native dragons, and 2 silver dragons, 25 mimic dragons, 30 prodigy dragons, and 3 juvenile alabaster dragons, and 40 horsey dragons. And this and many other interesting little bits of information was browsed over by Loki. And he now had enough information to make his way around Civita without getting lost, and his musings were put on stop when he saw the house they were staying at. Time, bro?
5 minutes.
Taken aback, Ingrid said, What in the world? It is certainly original, commented Alida.
It's a pudgy dragon.
Like tiny.
Oh.
Tiny.
Okay.
Yeah. Like chibi.
Got it.
So it is just us, or is there a servant to look after us, I think? I could ask about a maid, your highness, and I know of a good one that would even wipe your bottom for you, said Heborus sarcastically. There's no need to be so rude. It is just hygiene is a must, and I do not want to go inside and find the house filled with rats and who knows what else, commented Ingrid. Rats had yet to breach our city. As for spiders, there are a few, but they keep to themselves, said Heborus. You could kill them off and clean up the web, suggested Ingrid. It is bad luck to remove converts, said Hebolas and Loki in unison. You think everything is bad luck, Slade reasoned Ingrid. Not really. I have plenty of times that things were good luck, retorted Loki. No, you haven't, corrected Alida. Just the other day, I was putting up my clothing backwards, and you said I was itching for a beating. And then there was that time, you remember, Alida, and I was setting the plate, and I placed the bread upside down, and you threw a fit, said Ingrid, chuckling. I did not, said Loki, raising his voice. And stop making up things about me. You are making me look foolish in front of the dragon. Pay me no mind, said Hebolas, not taking part in the infantile argument. After a bit of riveting, Ingrid and Alida finally took stock of their surroundings, and indeed, the 5-story house was unique, for lack of a better word. And the first stairs leading to the first floor were ground with marble columns on either side, and on the second floor there were 4 narrow spiral staircases, and each one leading to the main room. And from there, one had to walk towards the center to a large floating staircase, and it had no railing, only planks supported by the walls. And a false stair would have one falling into the museum room on the floor below, and to get to the 4th floor one had to enter through a stair outside the balcony of the rooms, and it was suspended from the roof by wires. And most of the visitors tended not to bother to go to the 4th floor, and to get to the final floor one had to go up a seemingly simple straight staircase. And this was an illusion created by the realists, and after climbing the first few steps, the steps grew in length and height. And the final step could only be given by a dragon with a bothersome height of 5 foot, and Alida was enamored with the house instantly, while Ingrid found it insupportable. And Ingrid relegated herself to only the guest room in the first floor. Time, bro?
2 minutes.
Loki stayed in the 3rd floor due to its proximity to the music room and the library, and meanwhile Alida settled her meager personal belongings consisting of a 3 circus outfit and 5 changes of clothing, and her hula hoop she had been gifted by Loki, and her savings of 5,000 soon-to-be worthless coins, and a few childhood trinkets and the copper ring. Just as she always did, Alida set her stuff on top of the bed, and when she was certain that she had all of her items in her purse, she called into herself and she started counting each of her coins. And this time when she counted, a little dragon perched on her window, and based on its anatomy, it reminded Alida of a horse. And aside from resembling a horse, the dragon had all of the traditional attributes of its skin, with the claws, the mane, and the reptilian face. And it had 2 pairs of wings fused together, resembling a Neisseria belladonna butterfly. And this dragon was as large as a household cat. And he started scratching at the window till Alida finally opened it, and the dragon did not enter. Rather, he said, "Pardon the intrusion, but I was wondering if you were going to eat those golden coins." "No, why would I eat them?" asked Alida. "Because, well, pay me no mind. I see that you will sleep upon them, even though there is no need to do so, for you see the bed is made of golden threads, perfectly suitable to sustain your delicate constitution," said the dragon. Time?
1 minute, 30 seconds.
"Oh, I see. I'm not sleeping on the coin. This is just my money, which I keep to buy things," answered Alida. "I know money, but it won't do you any good, for with radiant stuff, not currency," explained the dragon. "Well, I do not have a lot of stuff, as you can see," answered Alida. "And even if it is worthless to you, I can still make use of it. If I were you, I would not stock up on stuff. A coin bearing a dead man's face is always greatly devalued," said the dragon solicitously. "That might be a problem," said Alida. Her face turned pale and then green, and she rolled around the bedsheets in a frenzy with all of her goods scattering about. When she calmed down, the dragon asked, "Can I have some of your worthless coins, please?" "Fine, take them." "They're worthless, aren't they?" she said, sighing. "Maybe in large bulks, as far as I heard as of late, and the deflation has not taken hold everywhere, and news travels slowly, especially the bad ones. And I will give them about a couple of months, and that is plenty of time to stock up on stuff," said the dragon, nibbling on the coins.